This morning, I'm joined by Ndia from Everlectric. Ndia, thank you very much for taking some time out and joining us with one of our coffee sessions. How are you this morning?
Very well, thank you, Rob. I hope you're well too, and thank you for having me for this coffee session.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for taking the time. So, Ndia, you are the co-founder and CEO of Everlectric. I think you have a wonderful background, but maybe just give us a short introduction, your career path and how you got to founding Everlectric.
Yeah, so like you say, my name is Ndia Magadagela. I'm a co-founder in Everlectric. Myself and two partners, we all met at Deloitte. So obviously we are accountants, and so that's how we met. My career started at Deloitte. I then moved on into deal making with the Industrial Development Corporation. I ended up in M&A at Momentum Metropolitan. And about 3 years ago, we started Black Slope Mobility, which is Everlectric. And really, it was just our interest in what was going on globally in terms of electric mobility.
Oh, fantastic. And you co-founded Everlectric. How many of you are in the partnership? You said you and two other people?
Yes, so it's myself, it's a gentleman by the name of Wesley van der Walt. He's also Deloitte trained, kind of left Deloitte and went straight into founding businesses. So he's a business builder by profession, really. He's been doing it for so many years. And another gentleman called Paul Plummer. He's also a CA. His career was at Deloitte for most part of his life before he joined Black Slope or Everlectric. And so those are the three people that are behind the Everlectric project.
Fantastic. And talk to us a little bit, your passion for electrification and probably more specifically mobility. Why Everlectric? Why mobility for you? Where's your passion lie on that side?
Yeah. So, we are innovators at heart, even in the different paths that the co-founders took after sort of the initial training in our careers. And we're always kind of looking for places where we can make a difference, things that are problems that need to be solved. And the electric mobility just kind of jumped out at us, mostly from our travels into Europe, specifically seeing just how electric mobility has sort of, they're quite way ahead as compared to South Africa. And that sparked an interest. And so when South African companies were starting to make the announcements that, globally they are being almost forced to think about their carbon emission statistics, etc., we thought that this would be kind of a project that sort of solves that for them and take the headache out of adopting electric mobility.
Fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about Everlectric. What sets Everlectric apart from other companies in the space? What's your elevator pitch?
Yeah, sure. So we're an electric vehicle as a service business. So if you go to let's say a logistics player, because we service logistics clients for now, and you say that you want to reduce your carbon emissions, but in order to do that you need to buy a vehicle which will be 60% more expensive than the one you're using now. You'll need to put down charging infrastructure, and you won't know how to maintain it because you'll probably be one of the first. They'll probably tell you, actually not, I'd rather just do my business as I've been doing it. But we have then put together a solution that sort of takes the headache out of transitioning to greener mobility by providing a full maintenance lease to logistics players. We provide the vehicle, the maintenance, the charging, and we connect this to like a connected back end and Internet of Things layer that allows us to be live in our vehicle and our chargers. That helps our clients to optimize charging, to schedule around things like load shedding, etc. So that is what we do really. In a nutshell, we take the headache out of transitioning to electric mobility.
Oh, that's fantastic. I think that's and to have that service, especially for kind of in a professional or commercial sense, makes a lot of sense because you talk to people and everyone says, EVs are perfect for logistics and commercial companies and usages, but I think a lot of people just don't know where to start. So if you guys are there providing that starting point, I think that's a fantastic opportunity. So you're going to be talking to us, and you're part of a wider discussion that we're having on the one morning around fleets and the electrification of fleets. Talk to us, why in specifically is electric mobility so important for South African fleets? I think it's an important thing that we talk about, because yes, it's great to hear about all these case studies from Europe and America and Australia and all these other countries. But we have to talk about South Africa. How is electric mobility for South African fleets going to work?
Yeah. So I think more of what I'll be talking about on that day is really because we have been running electric vehicles on South African roads for the past 2 years. It started out as a proof of concept, and exactly what you're saying, Rob. It was to prove that these electric mobility will work on South African roads in South African conditions, with all things, being equal. And so on that day, I'll really just be sharing a little bit about the lessons that we have learned. And obviously, in a new space like this, we might have started with a different mindset, and sort of the business model evolved over time as and when we learned those lessons. So I'll be telling about those lessons. I'll be telling people just how we sort of overcame the challenges. There's sort of a chicken and egg situation where people will say, but there's no charging infrastructure, but where am I going to maintain this vehicle? So I'm going to share a little bit about how we've solved that problem for the South African fleets, and also to just prove to everyone. I mean, I think a lot of people know that on a total cost of ownership basis, electric mobility is much better. It's cheaper, it's more efficient, and you still reach your goal of reducing carbon emissions as a fleet owner.
Yeah, and I think what's really important for fleets is that every kilometer is costed. They look at the wear and tear on the brakes, the tires, everything. Probably more so than your consumer. Your consumer says, okay, well, what's the cost per kilometer? If I'm driving an ICE vehicle, it's sitting at whatever 4 or 5 rand, whatever the petrol price is, it's going up and up and up. And then you say, okay, well, what's the cost of me driving an I-Pace or an i3 or an iX? And it's like, 60 cents a kilometer, and that's all well and good for general consumers. But from a commercial perspective, they review all the costs. It's brakes, it's wear and tear on tires, it's driver fatigue. Everything is a cost. And from what I've seen, and I mean, I'm no expert, this is what we talk to people like yourselves, is that EVs, just because of the way that they run, those maintenance, wear and tear costs, all of it is less.
Absolutely. And I mean, we've proved that over and over again with our clients that have been running with us in the last 2 years. Things like driver fatigue, the products that we have in the market right now, they're comfortable. Drivers are happy about them. The maintenance is a fraction of what you would do on a normal internal combustion engine. So if it's those kind of things that sort of fleets are looking out for, and we are able to say, I'm not telling you some data that has come out of a report out of Europe somewhere, I'm telling you of things that are actually happening on South African roads. I can give you like this data as I've had it and as I've proved it on South African roads.
Fantastic. So Ndia, what we're going to hear from you is a real case study based on South African cases, South African data, and providing South African solutions, which I think that is the whole point of EMCSA, is that we want to focus on South African solutions, because we have to ensure that what we're doing is right for South Africa. So that's super exciting. Ndia, maybe one last thought before we let you go and get on with the rest of your day. One final thought that you want to share with anyone about what you do, and maybe leave them with a final comment before they get to see you at EMCSA this year.
Yeah, I suppose, what is exciting for us is that 3 years when we started, there were less and less of these events, and everyone was just talking about like some hypothetical cases. And it's so good that actually these events are growing, and there are actually people there doing real things in this. And so I think it is important for anyone who's got an interest in this to attend this kind of event. I think it's also important for the policymakers to be there to ensure that on the policy side, because there are some things that are difficult because policies have not yet been changed. And so I would be really interested to know, how the policymakers are thinking about this kind of thing. But really, just to have so many people interested in electric mobility is really exciting for us. The circle is getting bigger.
Fantastic. Well, Ndia, it's been an absolute pleasure. I really, really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. I know that you're a busy lady. So thank you very much for taking time this morning and having a coffee session with us. From myself, Rob Walker, and the whole team at EMCSA, we cannot wait to see your presentation, sharing those real world stats with us, sharing those case studies, and hopefully moving the conversation forward around commercial electric mobility. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having me here, Rob. I'm looking forward to the conference. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you.